Oh, didn't see you there. Thanks for joining me. If you caught my last video, you saw an absolutely star-studded bunch of interviews from RMAC, and I did promise a part 2. So without a big long introduction here, we're going to jump right into that, and believe me, you are going to want to stay tuned to the end because there might be a little bit of top secret information about that new Karma gun being brought to the market by Donnie and the gang. So definitely watch to the end. Also, quite a few very big timers towards the end of the video. So check it out, and without further ado, here you go. All right, I got shooter 1721 Rick Rehm here, good friend of mine, teammate, and we're going to ask him the same 2 questions I've been asking everybody. But first, how about that bench rest, man?
How about day one?
Yeah.
I was like, day one, I was on bench 20, and I was like, that switch wing got me pretty good.
Were you getting the down push and then sometimes the up push?
Yep, and I didn't read it right.
Yep.
And it burnt me pretty good.
I'm still learning about that, but man, at NAC, me and you like this, and same thing
Guess
here.
what?
So
yeah, and this guy finished on top both times.
Hey man, the luck was with me or the win was.
1 point?
1 point this time, 1 point. So, you know, not too bad.
Awesome.
So, okay, cool. So let's get your input. So what is a piece of advice that you would give a newcomer, somebody maybe watching the channel that is wanting to get into competitions? And then on the flip side of that, question 2 is different piece of advice, but for the experienced guy looking to get into it.
So if you're a beginner and you want to get into this, and you want to get into competitions, one thing I want to tell you, and remember this, have no fear. Come in. This community is so accepting and so inviting. You need help, just ask. If you're going to be a new person coming in, a beginner, and you're worried about, you know, oh, how am I going to do? All the pros are out there. Have no fear. This community is wide open and very accepting to help you get started. How about it? Somebody would easily give you a bag or anything. I'm just saying to help you in the event. You don't know the information. You're afraid.
Well, just perfect example. You and Chris Turek, who am I texting to help me out? You guys. And you guys have been totally helping me out. And then just as you walk around, especially whether it be a local NRL 22 match or something like this, I just recently this year and last kind of got into these competitions, and I was nervous at first, and people have helped me. And you know what? Now I come here, and it's no sweat, you know,
at all. And he was like coming in, and he's a talented shooter. And let's say you're not, we're still going to help out, and we care about you, and we want to see the sport grow. So we're behind you. So don't have any fear, and don't worry about what people think, because you learn from mistakes anyway. I did. You know, I've been doing this how long and still learning different things.
I've been making plenty of mistakes, and I've definitely learned from, I would say, a good percentage of them. So, all right. So speaking of mistakes and experience, what about the experienced guys? What would you tell them?
I tell the experienced guys that if you're coming here and you're experienced and you're an experienced shooter, still come on in, because the people here, again, are accepting. And experienced shooters are welcome to come in here and get with the air gunners. Let's say they're not an air gunner, they're coming from the powder burn world. What you're going to see is a community that just wants to go this way, but they want to do it this way together. And that's the biggest advice, is that way people feel welcome. They can come talk to us. Don't be afraid to walk up and say something. I know this. I put my pants on the same way you do, I think, unless you jump in. Do you jump in?
Sometimes I put them on backwards when it's, you know, when I'm a little confused about the day.
Corrected,
But one other thing about the experienced guys, please come out to these. I want to shoot against the absolute best people in the world. And that's why I'm standing next to this guy. That's why I shoot against him in tournaments. And it'll sharpen you up to be able to shoot against those OG legends that have the tons of experience, because you'll learn from them. So, but yeah, I think very well said, Rick. Thank you so much, man.
Appreciate you.
Can't wait to see you the next time.
All right.
Cheers.
See you.
All right, we got Keith Gibson here from the 68 Whiskey channel. I missed you at the last event, but now I got you.
You got me.
So why don't you say a few words, kind of introduce yourself to any of my viewers who somehow live under a rock and might not know you.
I'm Keith, my shooting partner Norm, and I have the channel 68 Whiskey, mostly hunting, a lot of target shooting. I've come out here and done well, and just keep trying to do it.
Yep. And man, it's crazy for me to be here because I've been watching your guys' stuff for years, and you guys have influenced me to spend a lot of money. But other than that, so let's hit you with the 2 questions I've been asking everybody. Piece of advice for a new guy, maybe watching on YouTube or whatever, thinking about maybe breaking into the competition scene, and then piece of advice for experienced guy coming to one of these.
Yeah, I mean, so for the new guy, it's always just come out here and have fun your first time. I mean, there's nothing else you can do. The competition level is high, so enjoy it, learn from all the other people. Just make sure your gear's squared away before you come out, and know that you're going to have to retune when you get here if you're not living in high elevation. So prepare time in for that when you come.
Yep, I learned that lesson a little bit today.
Yeah.
So okay, how about for the experienced guy?
For the experienced guy, you better bring it, because I brought it. I actually shot my personal best today. I don't know if it's a 229 or a 230. The year I won 2 years ago, 228, and I won one. This year, my personal best, I'm struggling to hold on to a 10 spot. I might be like in 12th with a 229.
Right,
you know?
which is a stellar card. And just to give a little context, that was the final bench card.
Correct.
So,
and it's hard enough just to get there.
Oh yeah.
You know? And
Oh
then
yeah.
to come out and you get off the bench and you're like, yes, I shot well. And then you start looking at the other cards and you're just like, okay, I'm happy I shot well. You know, like, I mean, but you got to come with that attitude, because I'm telling you, the level is just going up every year.
Especially at RMAC, I feel like it's elevated in terms of performance.
It's
so
insane.
You definitely got to bring it. So.
I've literally never seen a card as good as I saw out there today in real
Hey,
life.
who's this guy?
This is my shooting partner, Norm.
So we're getting him on the 2 piece of advice that I pestered you for last time.
Talk about
So
that shirt too.
yeah, how about that shirt, huh?
You gotta love it. Our buddy Chris went and ordered Justin one, Keith one, and myself one. No,
I don't have
me,
one. I
Justin,
didn't even
and
know
Chris
about it.
one. Yeah, he didn't know about
I
it.
didn't know about it.
And the funny thing was, we're gonna keep it a secret, and we're gonna wear it if Keith made finals. Well, Justin didn't get that message in time, so he went and did a video himself of the shirt
And sent it to me like the night he got it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was so awesome, man.
So
But
good.
I guess Giles wants to take him and auction them off at the banquet.
Hey,
Have us
there you
sign
go.
them
There you go.
Yeah.
in auction.
Nice.
That's going to be cool.
Whatever
Well,
they want to do.
You guys can see it's nothing but good times here at RMAC. So thank you guys so much, man.
Yeah, man.
Appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Good shooting this weekend too, buddy.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
All right, I got my super best friend here, Dan Carpenter at RMAC, and I want to ask you the same 2 questions that I've been asking everybody else, because
All right.
your input is important to me. Piece of advice for a new guy coming to one of these events, and then question 2, piece of advice for maybe an experienced guy coming to one of these events.
I'd say for the new guy to just get here. Don't think that you're going to compete. Just come here, enjoy it, shoot the best you can possible, ask questions from the guys that have been coming here, and enjoy yourselves. Get here early. Try to get in a few days early to not only acclimate to the climate, because we're at a higher elevation. You're going to have to retune your guns because we are in such high elevation. You're going to be shooting a lot hotter than if you are in a lower elevation.
Yep.
And
I learned that lesson.
yeah, ditto.
Yep.
Ditto. For the experienced guys, just bring it. There's a lot of awesome shooters here, best in the world. And if you want to count yourself among them, you better have your A game, and that's it.
100%.
Yeah.
And going back to the first thing about the newcomer thing, I still consider myself a newcomer. This is only my 2nd pro rodeo, and yeah, I've shot lots of firearm competitions and stuff, but man, I mean, having your gear laid out and ready and getting in that perfect mindset to come here.
Yeah.
But like you said, you know, you got to start somewhere, and it's a building process. So I did pretty well here. I hope that the next one I can do a little bit better and better and better. And then one day, maybe, God willing, I see myself at the top or somewhere near it. And
one more thing to add too is don't waste your time. If you're going to get-togethers and parties, I suggest don't drink, don't party.
no.
Get some sleep, because this weather here will absolutely destroy you. It is freezing cold in the mornings and piping hot in the afternoons, and the moisture just gets sucked out of your body. So drink lots of water, have lots of fruit on hand to eat, and that's it.
All right. Stay hydrated, Kings. Thank you.
You're welcome, buddy.
I got the man John from Northeast Air Guns. He is the guy that ran the exquisitely run NAC a couple months ago.
Northeast
So-
Airgun Classic.
That's right. So I wanted to pick his brain a little bit, get you on my channel. What is a piece of advice you'd give to a newcomer, maybe looking to break into the tournament scene in air guns? And then on the flip side of that, let's hear your thoughts on a piece of advice for an experienced guy coming to one of these things.
So a newcomer coming into the competition world, don't be afraid to get out there and get after it. A lot of guys are worried they're gonna do poorly, or they're gonna be, you know, oh, they're under the microscope and they're gonna feel weird about, you know, I'm gonna embarrass myself. We've all started somewhere. Just go and do it.
Yep.
If you got an air rifle and you want to come out and try this and be a part of all this, just do it.
That's what I've had to do, man. And,
yeah, you did it. You jumped right in there.
And you know what? After a couple, I feel super comfortable. Like there's no sweat from me coming.
And you'll be welcomed. You're going to get so much good advice from guys that see these guys that are coming on. They're new and they might need advice. Everybody here will help you.
He'll come and give you a hug if you show up.
If you need a hug, I'll give you a hug.
Yeah,
we got
absolutely.
Frank will give you a hug. You know,
we're all about hugging around. See, you know. So.
And as far as a veteran goes, you know, the veteran guys, I would say, you know, don't be afraid to look at other veteran shooters and you know, either ask for advice, you know, put your ego aside, ask for advice, or watch what they're doing. The seasoned guys, you're going to learn every time you come here, and you could pick up a tidbit that, you know, maybe you missed finals this year. You pick up a tidbit of advice from a guy who's won it, or a guy that's doing really well. Don't be afraid to ask them. The 99.9% of the guys here will help anybody.
Yep, I learned so much from these guys, so I'm eternally grateful for that.
Yeah, so that's...
All right.
Yeah.
2 awesome pieces of advice. Thank you, sir.
Right on, brother.
We'll see you at the next one, dude.
You got it.
All right, I got Max here from Northeast Airguns team, and he is, how old are you?
13.
He is 13, and he's going to answer the same 2 questions that we have had from everybody else. So, Max, what do you think a piece of advice you'd give a newcomer coming to one of these events? And then question 2 would be, what's a piece of advice or input you would give to maybe an experienced guy coming to one of these events?
So for people who are just getting into air gunning or just getting into an event, I just say, like, try your best and try to take your time, and just, like, it doesn't matter how good you do or how bad you do, at least you try. So.
Okay, that is an excellent piece of advice and one that I live by for sure. What would you say for an experienced guy?
Well, for an experienced guy, I'd say mainly trying to give advice to newcomers and everybody coming around, and trying to just help out everybody as much as you can.
Dude, I am like a sponge when it comes to the experienced guys. I just take all their stuff. So excellent answers, very well spoken. Thank you so much, Max. Appreciate it. I've got Adam Scher, WWE superstar Braun Strowman here to answer a couple of questions. Pretty cool that you're getting into the airgun stuff. I think you've been doing it for a little bit now, eh?
So last year was my first experience. I got to come out to RMAC kind of as just, I hate saying celebrity because I'm not. I'm a redneck with a cool job. But as like the celebrity appearance thing, and got to play around with it, shoot a little bit. And was really blown away at the camaraderie in the sport, which is the main reason why I'm back here this year. Unfortunately, I took a little bit of an injury, so was why I was able to be here for the whole week for RMAC and things like that in my WWE career. But being able to be out here again and now full shooting, I shot bench, precision marksman, and big bore. So being able to participate in pretty much the whole week, it's been a lot of fun. Again, same thing, the camaraderie, everybody being out here is unbelievable.
Awesome, awesome. Tell us a little bit about your sponsors, who you're shooting for.
So yeah, plugging all these sponsors, you can see them on here. Mainly the big ones are DonnyFL, Saber Tactical, and then the new Karma air rifles that's coming out.
I got to get my hands on that.
Good luck right now. They're in prototype phase. The only ones you saw this weekend were the ones that the team were shooting. And let me tell you right off the get-go, the Red Panda, it's here to stay.
Thing's got like 19 plenums on it. It's like ridiculous.
I have no idea how it works. You got to talk to Donnie about that. I tell them to build a race car. I'll drive it.
Perfect.
And I did. I made it to the finals. The first time ever shooting a competition. I shot sportsman bench is what I did the best in. Made it to the finals. I've shot 4 cards my entire life. So 3. I shot a 220. I think it was a 223, a 224, and right now I'm counted a 220, a 217 rough for today in the finals.
Pretty solid
so
cards, dude.
I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it at all.
All right, perfect. So spinning off of that, so now that you've got some experience, what is a piece of advice you'd give? There's 2 questions. Piece of advice you'd give a newcomer coming out, and then after that, piece of advice you'd give to an experienced guy coming to one of these
I think the biggest thing for the newcomer side of the things is having fun. Remembering it's a competition first and foremost, but having fun. Because if you take it too seriously and you're stressed out about it, then it's not going to be as much fun. And that's the atmosphere, everything around here, the camaraderie. It's fun to be out here. The brotherhood, the sisterhood of the airgun community is second to none. So I think the biggest advice for newcomers shooting is making sure you're having fun. Talk to people. That's another thing. Everyone's so willing to help out here. Communicate. I grabbed the wrong bipod on accident when I shot my second card and was trying to call some of my teammates. They were shooting, couldn't get it over. A young man heard me in distress, volunteered his bipod to let me shoot, and shot the highest card of the weekend for myself with it. So that's what we're talking about. It speaks volume of what goes on in this community.
What a heartwarming little occurrence there, eh?
Yeah.
All right, so what would you say for the experienced guy coming to one of these things?
Get out of my way, I'm coming.
All right, man. Thank you so much.
Cheers, thank you.
dude. All right, I have tracked down the legendary Kate Jacobson for a little piece of advice. Now, you might notice these crutches here. Why don't you tell us what happened?
I was riding a Strowman, which is an electric dirt bike, and I was...
That's how it happened?
Yep, I crashed and I sprained my ankle, but...
At least that's like you didn't fall down the stairs or something. Like, that's cool.
Yeah, it's true.
So you took second at NAC in bench.
I did.
So you are shooting hot. So that's why I wanted to come and pick your brain and get your 2 pieces of advice here. So question 1, what's a piece of advice you'd give to a newcomer, maybe trying to break into one of these things? And then question 2 is, what advice would you give to like an experienced person coming to one of these?
Well, for new people, I would say just jump right in. You know, I feel like it's hard to get started, but just jump right in and don't compare yourself to other people. You are working at your own pace. You're not going to be where everyone else is, and that's fine. Like,
very insightful. Absolutely.
You focus on you, and
Yep.
then
it's like a gradual, path to growth. Just like these mountains here. You start at the bottom, you got to climb it, right?
Yeah.
So,
honestly.
okay, excellent advice. Don't be bashful.
Yeah.
Jump right in. All right. And what piece of advice would you give to the experienced guys coming out here?
The experienced guys, give advice to the new people and stay humble.
I have learned so much from all the more experienced shooters. So those are like little golden wisdom nuggets I just kind of take with me when I go, and so.
Yeah.
Yep, very well said.
Like I only started shooting after RMAC last year. If it wasn't for these experienced shooters helping me, I would not be even close to where I am now.
Well, you must be soaking up that knowledge pretty good because you are shooting on fire. So,
thank you.
All right, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it. Okay, I've tracked down the elusive Donny Do from DonnyFL, and I wanted to get your input on a couple of things. But first, if somebody's been living under a rock and doesn't know who you are, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself a little bit here?
So I'm Donny, and like Warren said, I'm behind DonnyFL. We've been in business for about 7 years now, and mainly our specialty is air gun suppressors or moderators. Yeah, yeah. And then I also do Saber Tactical. We've been making accessories for FX air guns. We're mainly accessories that help shooters be able to shoot more accurate.
Just take that gun to the next level.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
exactly.
Cool. All right, so let's hit you with the 2 questions. So what's a piece of advice you would give a newcomer coming to one of these events, just looking to maybe they watch us on YouTube or whatever, and they're just kind of itching to get into one of these things?
Yeah.
And then a piece of advice for like a experienced guy that's definitely not at his first rodeo coming to one of these things.
I think social media, YouTube makes guide a lot of guys. Like you see something and you're like, oh, I want that gun. But if you can actually go to a store and hold the gun or have someone local, because it depends on your size and it helps you.
You're essentially ordering blind if you just buy something offline. So maybe get to the store, hold it, feel what works right for you. Maybe a Crown's more suited to you rather than a Maverick or something.
I mean, like the FX guns are so accurate, but there's so many different styles. So you got to find one that fits you. Be able to hold it tight. Some of them, the kids are shooting, and you can't use like the longer guns. Like the length of pull is a little different. So
yep, absolutely. Yep. Okay, so gear choices is what he's hitting on for the new guys. Good piece of advice. Very important. What would you say to the experienced dudes coming out here?
The OGs. Even for myself, this is only I don't compete much, but I'm learning. I've watched these guys shoot. And what I've learned, like when I first got in, it was all about speed. Like, oh, the wind is down, so I go shoot as fast as possible. But I think here, especially in Utah, the wind changes so fast.
I was getting up, down, left, right, everything.
So mentally, I have to slow myself down. I have to go shoot the sighters. The sighters is your best friend right there. See how the wind is blowing. And if I can get 2 bullseye in the sighters, then I rush up to shoot
I rush so
top.
fast.
Yeah.
It's funny how sometimes you can rush back up, and by the time you get back up on target, it's already changed. So,
but yeah, exactly. And that's the thing that's killer. What we're learning, or I'm still learning, is the target is like 2 feet tall or something. The bottom row the holdovers is different from the target that's on top because of the way the berms are.
Yep.
You know, so the wind is like pushing. There's more.
It's an art, man.
Yeah, it is.
And I'm still learning it. I used to never be able to put up over 200 cards, and now I'm doing it pretty regularly. So I'm learning, you know.
You know, I watched like Nikolai, who from Russia, watching him, and you know, the guy's so methodically shooting, like, you know, looking at his wind flag. One eye's like wind flag, one eye's on a target. When that wind flag, like, so like in a perfect position, he's like, oh yeah, if it's like this position, I know it's like the holdover's this much. If it's like this, it's this much.
So I've been staying in the FX house with him for this trip. I don't know if you knew that.
No, I didn't know that.
And he is like a sensei with how he just has a complete routine for everything, and he's just super focused. So all right, cool. So mind the wind, be super focused,
and patience,
have some patience. Oh, what about that Karma gun that we saw here? All right, here's something new from the Donny gang. Huge plenum in the back. Don't know what it's called. It's 30 cal. And it honestly looks pretty intriguing. Then we got Ken's Behemoth next to it. Panthera. But look at this thing.
And again, while the line is cold, do not handle your rifle.
Coming soon.
The Karma, you know, that we just got that gun 2 weeks ago, thinking it's made in China, and you know, the perception that people get over here is that Chinese can't compete with the Germans' guns, you know, the FX guns or the UK guns, and I was skeptical. So when there was this manufacturer that was in China that was working on this gun for a while, they're like, "Hey, Donny, we really want to have you test this gun and give us your feedback on it. You know, we worked on it for a while, and it's a competition gun." But, you know, competition gun, you know that what's out there, the day states, the FX, and, you know, so
pretty stiff market, man.
I was like, you gotta have a really good barrel to compete with those guys, you know? But when we got it, we had like 7 guys over at my house, and we set up the 100-yard targets. Actually, we did the 50 yards. We're like, damn, it's a one whole group. Let's try it. 75, one whole group. And then 100, it's like everyone was doing at least like a 1-inch group at 100 yards. And these are like non-shooters either. And for them to be easily hit the target every time we're like, I think we have a winner.
You can't ask for much better than that.
There's stuff to iron out, you know, for usabilities and stuff like that. But
what's the timeline on becoming available?
I think we gather a lot of feedback from the shooters a few days ago. We're gonna go back, give China the feedback, and have them give us a rendering. So I think it's gonna be about by the end of the year.
Okay.
We should have it.
All right, so stay tuned for that. Thank you so much, Donny. Appreciate it, man.
Thanks for having me.
Cheers. All right, so we've got one of my personal heroes, Gerard Slabbert. I've been watching this guy for years and years, and now we finally met.
Finally, my friend.
Congrats on PRS.
Thank you.
Winning that. That was
awesome.
Absurd. Pretty stiff competition with you in it, man.
Yeah.
So, so if anybody's been living under a rock, why don't you go ahead and give a little intro, kind of, tell them about your sponsors, H&N.
Well, first of all, my name is Gerard, and I am from Cape Town, South Africa. Most of you guys might have seen me on my YouTube channel called Air Hunter Gerard. Been hunting for my whole life, been shooting air guns and firearms my whole life, and pretty much whatever's got a trigger on it, that's pretty much what I pulled for my whole life so far.
Absolutely.
Been competing for the last 12 years of my life, and this is now the 4th RMAC event for me this year. This year, all the focus was in the PRAs, as most of the guys
I've never seen somebody so focused. You and Nikolai just like laser.
Yes, yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, I think most of that comes from the bench shooting me and Nikolai do. You know, it's you need to put your flaps on, concentrate, and pull it through. And just very happy to get P1 this year. It was amazing. We had like 100 top shooters. It was really a good battle to the end. And like I said, I've been practicing and putting a lot of hard work into this event for the last 7 months.
And it shows.
Yeah, thank you very much. Well, that's a good thing. Luckily, I have a good excuse now why I did so well. It's not just luck.
Well, man, I've learned a lot from you just from distantly watching your stuff on YouTube. And so let's give these people a little bit of learning too. So I wanted to hit you with the same 2 questions that I've been asking everyone. So it's a kind of a 2-parter. What's a piece of advice you'd give somebody new that might be watching us on YouTube that wants to maybe break into
this?
Yep. And then a piece of advice for a OG experienced guy that is coming into one of these events.
Well, I will say that the best thing to get into these kind of competitions is just to get into it. The first thing you need to do is get into a competition. Doesn't matter how you shoot, doesn't matter what you got. The biggest advice I can give you is getting to an event, come and shoot these events and feel how it feels, because you pick up a lot of experience and you get a lot of advice at these kind of events. The more you do it, the more comfortable you will be feeling next time when you do it again.
100%.
So that is number one, I will say.
So I just got into NRL 22 and I was kind of scared to go. I didn't know how the stages progress. I didn't know all the rules and I was kind of trembling a little bit. But once I went and got my first one under my belt, I was fine. Like now I come to these and I'm completely comfortable. So, and I'm just a regular guy, man.
Yeah. Well, you did quite well. You shot the Northeast Classic as well.
I took 8th in NAC and I took 20th here. I had a couple of bad stages. And then, you know what? 2 of my college friends saw online that I was here and they came and I heard them cheering me on. And I looked over and I was like, no way. And then I started doing way better again. So
the thing is, that's the first kind of advice I can give you is get into the matches, start shooting matches as much as you can. Don't worry too much about gear. Just spend a lot of time behind the gun, get some trigger time. The second advice I can give you is to, once you get into these kind of competitions and you do it a lot, you've got a lot of repetition into this kind of events, then you can start looking at gear, you see what you have and how you can advance. And then I think the last one is it comes with experience, unfortunately. It is one thing, if you're going to come and you've been shooting for a while and you haven't put the work into it, you haven't practiced and haven't, built a proper foundation for these kind of events, then you need to not expect a lot. So it is about hard work at the end of the day as well.
So essentially you get in what you put in.
Exactly. What you're going to get out is what you put in. So, and that's the unfortunate part, a lot of guys might come to these kind of events and just hope that they're going to do well. Unfortunately, I will tell you straight away, in honesty, because that's the one thing I want to be honest.
Yeah.
You're not going to do well if you don't put the work in it. So you have to practice, you have to put the time in. That's the only way you can get to the top.
It's like you don't work, you don't eat. And my friend, you are going to be eating very nicely for a while. Congrats, dude. Thanks so much, dude. Appreciate
awesome,
it.
Hey, thanks for an awesome channel. Thanks for always supporting my channel.
Of course.
And you guys definitely need to go check out. This is awesome. I've been following him from the beginning. He's always been supportive, so definitely
thank you.
Hit that subscribe because I think the channel is also going to go far in the long day.
Oh, my heart. Thank you so much, dude.
Keep up, brother. Thanks for the time.
Cheers.
Appreciate it.
Justin Welch here, the man himself, who's actually helped me quite a bit. So thank you for that, dude.
Yeah, no problem,
man. Excellent. So I wanted to get your ear here and get your feedback on 2 questions. So I've been asking everybody, what is the piece of advice you would give a newcomer coming out to one of these events? And then on the flip side of that, what is a piece of advice you'd give like an OG veteran to one of these? Yep.
Right on. Well, for newcomers, I would say get out here and try it. That is the number one thing. Don't feel intimidated. Don't feel, like your gun isn't good enough. Just get out here with whatever you have and come out and try it. We are the nicest people to bring out to matches with because we like to help.
Absolutely. Bro, I'm a newcomer. All right. Like straight up and down, I'm a newcomer. I'm doing all right though, right? I mean, you guys have all helped me.
Doing really well.
So everything is gravy. But yeah, I was intimidated to start shooting NRL 22 and what are the rules and this and that.
Yeah.
And but don't let that be an intimidating factor enough to not have you go there because everyone will help you like this.
Exactly. It doesn't matter if you have, the lowest of the low price, of the guns or the highest of the high. Just get out here and shoot a match. It is so much fun.
And you're going to learn the mechanics of the flow of how things go.
First year might go a little rough. It's okay. Because next year, you come back and you kick some butt.
And you're going to make some friends.
Exactly.
All right, so what about the experienced guys?
So the experienced guys, be the helper. If you see somebody struggling, if you got a newcomer here, coach them, help them out, the ROs aren't going to say anything if like, hey, this is a new guy. You know what I mean? Like, we're going to try to help them along through the stage. Just, that's my word of advice. Just, if you're an OG and you see somebody struggling, give them a hand, like even if it's, they get a malfunction on the line or they're struggling with their card, they're struggling with, their course of fire that they're doing, or if they don't know dopes and stuff like that, like help them out, teach them the ways,
So you exemplify that because during PRS, you had a newer PRS shooter, your friend Kayla.
Yeah.
And I saw you coaching her the whole time, helping her out. And without you helping her, she probably would have done a little worse.
Yeah.
And so she probably did a little better with you helping her out. So he exemplifies his words here. He's not just talking, he's about it. So All right, great advice. Thank you, Justin.
Yeah, no problem, man.
Appreciate you, man. See you at the banquet.
You too.
Cheers. All right, I've got Lexi Linder here, pretty legendary gal in the sport. We've come head-to-head a couple of times in PRS, and you actually did excellent at NAC, and that was the first I had kind of met you.
Yeah.
Won a Panthera shooting that thing at Firebird target at like 300 yards.
Yeah, it was a good time. So I'm here from Salt Lake City, Utah. This is my hometown where we're doing RMAC right now. And I shoot for Utah Air Guns, arguably the best team around. And I'm actually running for this season my FX Impact M3. I'll probably get that Pantera set up pretty soon here, but it was a little bit tight for me to get that set up for this competition.
Right,
So,
right. Got to use what's already working. So,
yeah, for sure.
So rolling into my questions here off of that, piece of advice for newcomers maybe looking to break into airgun events, and then a piece of advice for experienced folks coming to one of these.
Yeah, so for newcomers, my best piece of advice is just come out, reach out. If you can get into any local comps, I think the best way is to just jump into it. I did it and I was absolutely terrified, but this community of people is so friendly, and I would borderline say this is more of like a family situation for us. So just come out, we'll help you with anything that you need. And like I said, everyone is super friendly, so don't be scared. As far as old guns go, old timers, whatever you want to call it, I just practice, put in the work. You can see the top competitors here always putting the time in, getting that trigger time, and it shows. So if you can, make the time to practice, and it's just worth it. You'll be up here with the top people.
Very well said. Thank you so much. Pleasure meeting you.
For sure. You too.
Cheers.
Thanks for getting me out here.
Well, that's going to do it, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. It's pretty hard to shoot in the pro division and also get content while you're there. So big respect to everybody who's out there doing that. But let me know what you think in the comments. I usually try to respond to everybody. And if you've got ideas for maybe the next tournament of interview questions that I can ask people, I'm all ears about it. So hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll catch you on the next one. Peace.